Hello, it is Diane with Diane's Blue Hearts and Butterflies.com, and I was trying to come up with some Valentine cards for our February class, and I had really kind of fallen in love with the Love and Happiness Bouquet of Love bundle, and all the words, really great sayings, as well as the 3D embossing folder and the dies that come with that bundle. And I saw several people that were using the old technique of coloring the background on the embossing folders. So that's what I decided to do, but I wanted to be able to use the use it and have it go for several different cards to show the versatility of it. So I started out with embossing one sheet with the 3D embossing folder that has the stitched heart inset in it. And then I took that heart and put it on another card where I just took another piece of white paper and I cut the heart out again of it and put it on another card that I just used with designer series paper. And then I also added some embossing and other techniques. So I thought that I would share that video with you. So we'll go over some of the supplies, or the supplies that we will need for this. So the two embossed cards, I did just use the thick white cardstock, basic white cardstock. It's just the standard 5.5 by 8.5. And then I scored it at 4 1/4 in landscape so that it would just be able to fold into a card base. This one is the one that I'm going to color with the ink and the embossing folder. So this one is actually a 5.5 by 4 1/4 basic white cardstock. So it is exactly the same size as the card front, and that's the one we're going to do the coloring. I did take and cut out, using the heart die, the heart from that, because I wanted to stamp the sentiment on this, and then I kind of recessed it while I popped up the background on that one. And so that's the first one. The next one, I have the thick white again as the base. It's 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4.5. Now this one, I did want to have a colored background piece, and it's coordinated with the color that we're going to stamp onto the embossing folder to do. But I did want it to kind of have little borders, because on this one I popped up the heart so that you could kind of see the color underneath. So this one is a 5 1/4 by 4. Is it? Yes, 5 1/4 by 4 on the color. And then this white, basic white, I did 5 3/8 by, oh no, this one's, that's what it is. This one is 5 3/8 inches long, 4 1/8. So this one is the one that is 5.5 by 4 1/4. So that it's just a small border. And then I took the label, the larger label that is in this die set, and cut out coordinating label for this card. And this is the one we're going to get the heart from, this other piece. So let me go ahead and move that off to the side. And then the third card in this trio of cards. I did already cut out that with the white. I was trying to save a little bit of time by going ahead and embossing that. And then I took and created a white label that I will stamp on. And so the base, again, it's a color coordinated base, and it's 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4 to create the base. This designer series paper is 5 1/4 by 4 to just go on the top, the front, and then I created another 5 1/4 by 4 white cardstock to go on the inside to stamp the message. And so these pieces are here. And then I did add a little bit of some ribbon to that. So let me set these pieces off to the side. And get some of these other things moved out of the way. Let's get this one. I wanted to be able to show you that technique on preparing that folder. All right, so I took a scrap piece of paper and just put it down so that I could ink this up. And I'm using Blushing Bride for that paper. I did want to kind of go over a little bit. I normally try to get the embossing and stuff done elsewhere because it shakes the table so poorly or badly. So this time I wanted you to be able to see. You will need the number 1 base plate and then the number 4 specialty plate with this folder. It is a 3D embossing folder. And the part that has the Stampin' Up! Label on the front, this is the side that actually pushes the white paper up through to create that embossed look. And this is also where the inset for this heart will be there. Before I put the heart in there, though, I do need to ink up the folder. And so I'm going to grab, let's see if these are here. And so on mine, I did, because I wanted to be able to kind of place it centered with the heart, I put some washi tape on this side to kind of help me to line up that the card with the washi tape so I could get it kind of centered. But I'm gonna put ink liberally all over here. And when you do a project or a technique like this, you do need to have your something to wash this off with, which I have over there on my table. So I was trying to keep this where I could see that washi tape and keep this straight. And then I just fold this over. You always want to make sure that your hinge part goes in first, and then you'll put the specialty plate on top. I'm going to run this through. Sorry for the banging around. I will move this off to the side. And then when you open that up, you could get your little heart and then your background piece, and then you'll pull off that die. I'm just going to set this off to the side so that I can wash it in a moment. And so you would want to set these pieces off to the side a little while to let them dry, but you can see how it puts that ink in the background to create that image. I saw one person that took, it was like a red paper, and they actually inked the folder in black, and it really looked like that kind of black and red velvet type images or paintings or whatever you call it from a long time ago, and it was really, really pretty. So just so that we're not waiting on those things to dry, I did want to go ahead and pull out some pieces to put these things together. This was another set that I was doing in Petal Pink. And so let me go ahead and get, I put the dimensionals kind of around. This is a good place to be able to use some of those edge strips too. I just wanted to make sure that I could give it some dimensions for when it gets mailed so that it doesn't kind of lose its shape. So move those back off to the side. And then when I put this on, I do try to get it lined up on the side where the fold is, because if anything is going to hang over, I'll just cut it from back behind on the edges when I open up the other part of the card. I do find that when you've embossed, especially a 3D embossing folder onto cardstock, that it tends, when you use the seal, Stampin' Seal Plus, that it tends to pull the paper up because it's been weakened. And so if you're going to attach this just flat straight on, I would recommend the white Tombow glue to adhere that instead of a tape roller, adhesive roller, because it's a bit more forgiving unless you're going to pop it up like I am. And so if anything were hanging over, I would be able to just trim it by looking back here, but I think it's pretty okay. And then this one I'm going to, I found one of the sayings in here is, here's to another year of love, laughter, and happily ever after. And I thought this would be really pretty as an anniversary card. So I'm going to try to get that centered over this heart. Sorry for my head if it gets in the way. There we go. Then I set that off to the side, just let it dry a little bit. Here is the other secondary one. And I didn't want you to have to watch me doing every little piece and thing with it, so I did do some of these ahead of time. This one I embossed Valentine Greetings in white on this card. Now this one I'm going to want to pop this up, so this one I want to just lay flat on to the colored cardstock. So actually that's going to be covered up, so it doesn't really matter. I forgot to grab my silicone craft sheet because it would help to keep glue off of my work surface. I'm not a very handy liquid glue person, but I find that it's easier to work with that. Get this. Oh, I just did that. No. this is where you get to see why I'm not a very good liquid glue person. So this one I'm going to try to create that border all the way around. Just glue that straight down. I'm going to put the dimensionals on the back of the heart. And then I do prefer the Seal Plus for the runner. It tends to work better for me. So that's what I use. Here's the base. And then I will create another small border here. Oh, I forgot I was going to do some dimensionals on the back of this label too. So I will pop these up. There are other stamps and other sets that you could add something to the inside, but I just kind of left them plain right now until I get ready to use them. And this is gonna fit where that inset is, and it'll stick up just a little bit. And then I put the label. These are just some basic, very simple cards that I was trying to do, but teaching an older technique as well. And then if I can find how to open it. This is the new iridescent rhinestones that are in the January to June mini catalog. And I'm just going to grab some of these rhinestones to add to these two cards. So it just makes it look really pretty. And then I'll find a place to put one there. And then I'll bring this one back in. I'm gonna just use a glue runner on the back of this heart. And if any hangs over a little bit, you can fold it under. And this Seal Plus kind of has little slits in it, so it tends to peel off easier. And then I'm just gonna kind of put this inside where that cut out from, and it'll be kind of recessed in there. And then again, I'm gonna grab iridescent. Where am I going to put it? Put one here. Here. Just put it right there. So this creates those two, but then I wanted to do something with the heart that I took out of this side, and that's where I created the trio part of the cards. With this one, I think I'm going to do a pool party ribbon. That I have. And then I'm going to stamp the sentiment. And I pulled out to the one I love, and I want to stamp that in Gorgeous Grape. on this label. I think got a little bit too much ink. It's always good to kind of watch the ink. You generally just need to tap the surface to get it on the raised part, because otherwise if you push it too hard you can get it on the outer edges of the stamp, and that's what creates those halos and mess ups when you stamp. So let me put this right there. There we go. Get that out of the way. Let that sit over and dry. If you wanted to, you could take a dauber and add some ink if you wanted to the raised part of the to the image, the embossed image. I apologize for the stops and starts. I had a really hard time with being sick over Christmas, and I ended up getting COVID, and it has really kind of, oh, did not mean, this goes onto the card base, and it's really kind of messed with my thoughts processing and stuff. I can think of the words, just can't quite get them out, so I'd have to stop a lot. This is the one that goes on the inside, so I'm just going to add the runner there, and I'll stick that on the inside, and I can come along and put something in the inside. Now, I did pop this one up, I believe, and then I put the ribbon underneath. It's just kind of showing some of the versatility of this set, the bundle. And this paper is from that same area in the catalog. It's the Sweet Talk, and I have used quite a few. I had 2 packs, so I've used quite a few on my cards for this class. So I'm going to use glue dots to adhere the ribbon where I'd like it. Start with 2, kind of get that. Well, I would, except that it didn't come off. Do a little bit more. There we go. Then I'll just fold it back, get some more glue dots. Sometimes when you hold your finger over it, it kind of melts it a little bit into that ribbon. And then you just pop this up. And I'll add some dimensionals also to the label that I want to put there. Then we will have a trio of cards made very quickly with the embossing folder set, and it's just real fast and easy to get, once these are just done, to have some great cards that you can hand out. So I hope you enjoy. Please subscribe to my channel if you like the kinds of projects that you see, and click the bell icon if you'd like to be notified when I upload more videos. Also, if you check out my blog at www.dianesblueheartsandbutterflies.com, my blog will have the dimensions for the cards over there, or the dimensions for the pieces that you need to cut. And then I also have links to all the videos, and then there's other projects on there. I would love to be your demonstrator if you don't already have one. You can shop through my channel, be able to get the products that you love, and I hope that you will keep coming back and sharing with me. I love to hear comments. Just let me know how I may be able to help. Thanks.